up ahead of the no, David Munoz, was comfortably clear, taking advantage of that mid-race shower to make his escape and claim victory in the Japanese Grand Prix. Can the intact squad take some further success in Moto2? Their battle comes up next.
MotoGP has made the mammoth trip of nearly 10,000 kilometres from Misano to Motegi for a potential title-deciding Grand Prix of Japan. The biggest prize in motorcycle racing is on the line, with all eyes on Marc Marquez to see if he can wrap up a 7th MotoGP title as Ducati look to dominate at the home of Honda again. We're ready for a decisive duel in Japan. It's time to race in MotoGP. Good afternoon and welcome back to Japan. Welcome back to the Mobility Resort Motegi, the home of Honda, of course, where 3 times previously on board a Honda, Marc Marquez, right here in Japan, has been crowned MotoGP World Champion. Times have changed, times are different though, aren't they now in modern day MotoGP? Because for the 4th time here at this great motorsport venue, Marc Marquez now, of course, on a factory Ducati, can clinch the MotoGP World title. It'll be lights out for the Premier Class battle over 24 laps in just under 2 hours' time. Coming up next, though, is the latest episode, the latest instalment in what is turning out to be a real fascinating battle for Moto2 glory in 2025. A battle which continues to rage between championship leader Manu Gonzalez, who of course was victorious here in a rain-affected Moto2 battle in Japan 1 year ago. I'm just looking out of our commentary box window to see some rather ominous grey clouds starting to gather once again above this Motegi circuit. Gonzalez on pole position after being the winner here last year. 39 points clear he is of his 2 closest championship rivals, Diogo Moreira and Aaron Canet, who's had an absolute nightmare. There is Canet on the 44 bike. What a shocker he's had so far here this weekend in Japan. Maybe it's a 4-horse race for glory in 2025. Let's not discount the impressive Belgian Barry Baltus, an excellent 2nd in Misano last time out, behind home hero Celestino Vietti. Baltus only 54 points adrift in this Moto2 title chase with 6 rounds still remaining. Matt Burt then, Lewis Sotheby and Jack Appleyard, bringing you all of this live coverage of this 19-lap Moto2 battle here in Japan. We hope it's going to be a 19-lap battle because we've got a few eyes skywards at the moment. There was a brief rain intervention in the earlier Moto3 battle. The race was not stopped. Don't worry, no spoilers in the commentary box here, but there was a few spots of rain that did just potentially threaten some serious disruption to our opening exchange on this race day number 17 then in 2025. Tyler contenders then. Gonzalez on pole position. Diogo Moreira second in the standings. He fires away from the middle of the second row in fifth. And then Aaron Canet, well, he needs binoculars to see the lights go out here in Motegi. 22nd on the grid is the Spanish ride, and that's courtesy of a couple of grid moments as well, I believe. Let's go down though straight away to Jack Appleyard and our pole starter now. Championship leader, Manu Gonzalez.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be a big day today for Manu. Starting from pole, pace looks excellent, but looking up to these skies, clouds coming across, does that come into your thinking at all when you're trying to plan for this race ahead?
Well, I think it's not riders, put my own rhythm. That is the best I can do because the battle here is not easy with the brakings and the front tires, so just keep
This could be a race where you are going to really have to use your head. No win in the last 7 Grand Prix for Gonzalez since Mugello. 9 podiums so far in 16. His last 7 finishes, to be fair to him, they might have been winless, but he has finished in the top 4 on every occasion. That's why he has built that pretty comfortable 39-point lead in this World Championship. A danger man from the second row clearly will be Moreira. Here is the pole starter, Gonzalez. 2 Aspire riders, 2 rising stars in Moto2 alongside him on the front row, Holgado and Alonso. But as mentioned, Lewis, a massive task for Aaron Canet to keep himself firmly in the championship picture. 22nd on the grid at the head of row 8. He's only there, having qualified 23rd because of the penalty that came the way of Jorge Navarro. It has been an absolutely dismal weekend, hasn't it, so far in Japan for Canet?
Yeah, hadn't been looking great before qualifying. He had a crash on Friday afternoon which plunged him into qualifying 1. And if it sounds bad for Aaron Canet, it's really bad. It's as bad as it's ever got for him in Moto2 in his 105th Moto2, 104th should I say, Moto2 start today. That is Aaron Canet's worst ever qualifying.
Has to be one of the worst ever qualifying performances of his entire Grand Prix career. Having no dramas, having no issues right now is 20-year-old Spaniard Danny Holgado. Bit of a blip early on Friday morning here in Japan when he had a crash at turn 10. But since then he's been superb once again. Holgado, of course, 3 podiums in the last 4 Grand Prix, including that brilliant victory in Catalonia. Well, he was super fast, wasn't he? Throughout practice, Jake Dixon, fast in both sessions on Friday, fastest on Saturday morning. He goes away from 6th place on the grid, does the Brit, and he joins Jack on the grid.
Jake, been a great weekend so far, really fast on Friday and on Saturday, but these conditions aren't ideal. I don't think we're expecting any rain. Can you plan for it at all?
My day's all the better for seeing you now. At least I'm not laughing this time. No, it's been a great weekend. Just didn't quite have the out-and-out speed for that last little bit in qualifying, but got great rhythm. I'm going to get stuck in today, and yeah, it's going to be a great race.
Have fun.
Cheers.
Jake Dixon, of course, was on pole position here last year when he was one of several riders that was on wet tyres, which ultimately proved to be the wrong choice. And now then, there's been so much focus on the top 3 in the championship, Gonzalez, Moreira and Canet, with some justification because they have been the standout trio of the season so far. But I think it is fair to say, Lewis, that we can't discount Barry Baltus from that championship picture. 54 points behind Gonzalez, just 15 behind both Moreira and Canet. A whole bunch of podiums so far this season, still searching for that breakthrough third win. But Baltus quite clearly is in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah, he's going to have to start winning, though, if he's going to chase down that 54-point gap to Manu Gonzalez. But you're absolutely right. If we're considering Moreira and Canet title threats to Gonzalez, we have to consider Baltus 1-2, given that he's just 15 points further back. Had that San Marino Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago been one lap longer, we might well have been talking about Barry Baltus as a Moto2 winner. He, like Canet, his teammate at Fantic, was in qualifying 1 yesterday. Baltus, though, was successful through Q1 to get himself on row 3.
Well, we've talked about our top 2 on the grid. Manu Gonzalez and Danny Holgado, 2 informed Spaniards. Brilliant job by our reigning Moto3 world champion David Alonso, the 19-year-old Colombian, starting on the front row of a Moto2 battle for the first time. Well, there are a few Brits that have made a very, very long journey over to Japan to roar on Jake Dixon. David Alonso, brilliant performance to get himself on that front row. Last 6 finishes, all top 10 for the 19-year-old. But one of the stars at the moment in Moto2 is another rookie, Danny Holgado, on the front row with Jack.
Danny, you're in great form at the moment. You must be loving riding your bike right now. What's possible today?
Yes, today will be a very good race, I think, because we have a good opportunity to keep learning on this way. Yeah, very, very happy with my second position here yesterday in the qualifying, but now is the race. I'm ready to fight. Let's see, we can do it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, he is ready to fight. We talked about his golden podium run. Podiums in 3 of the last 4. He's been pretty strong on Saturdays as well. He's qualified top 2 now in 4 of the last 5 Grand Prix. He has been, in many respects, probably with Baltus, one of the surprise sensations of 2025. 3rd here in Moto3 in 2023, 4th there last year, so he knows his way to a fast lap time around this Motegi track.
Tankavara, who starts at the front of row 4 in 10th place, was up in the top 3 on Friday, even if he had his best lap times ultimately cancelled due to some incorrect tyre pressures. He has his fans too. The number 28 former Moto3 champion, of course, does feel as if he's got some genuine podium potential. And could we say the same about Ayumu Sasaki? He starts from a career best 8 despite a crash in qualifying. Let's get his pre-race thoughts for Jack.
Yeah, what a weekend it's been on home soil so far, Ayumu. I imagine really excited for this.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good to be back home, and the speed is much better than last year, so that's good. And showing also the Japanese fans is great. And yeah, it's been good 2 days. Now we have a race. Yesterday I made a mistake in the qualifying, so we have to learn from that. And today we just try to finish the race, and hopefully we can stay with the front guys.
Have fun.
Yeah, thanks Jack. Thanks to 24-year-old Japanese rider Ayumu Sasaki, who has had a couple of spills so far this weekend. As he mentioned, that one in qualifying yesterday at turn 3. When he has been upright, Sasaki, he has been very, very fast in front of his home crowd. He was second quickest here on Friday afternoon. A Moto3 podium finish himself here back in both 2022 and in 2023. 12th last time out in San Marino, only the 6-point finish of his Moto2 career for Sasaki.
That Q2 crash was the second of 2 crashes for Sasaki yesterday. There is one of 2 riders who've been booted 9 places back down the grid. Mario Aggi and Jorge Navarro, as Matt mentioned, the second of those has at least given Aaron Canet one fewer rider to overtake from 23rd on the grid up to 22nd. Tyre information has already come through from Pirelli, and it will be very easy to remember. Every rider in the field is on the soft front and the super soft rear.
You are starting to feel a little bit for Canet's prospects of reeling in Gonzalez in the latter stage of this world title battle. No podium in the last 6 for the 25-year-old Spaniard, his longest podium drought since 2021, and no win in 12 since the Qatar Grand Prix. Yeah, thumbs up in the crowds, thumbs up from us in the commentary box as well. Let's hope it's a thumbs up as well for the number 71, Ayumu Sasaki, who they were home fans clearly showing their allegiance for there in the grandstands. And there's a massive contingent of 79 fans who've been out in force since Friday morning. Of course, a massive day in the career and life for Ayagura, about to make his Grand Prix debut in the Premier class in just under 2 hours' time. Of course, the first chance that Agura-san has had to race in front of his home crowd since he was crowned Moto2 world champion in Buriram last October.
Yeah, it's the second place in this Grand Prix that really did catapult him towards the world championship in conditions which we can't completely rule out a repeat of this afternoon. Remember when it rained on the first lap, we had that red flag and the confusion about whether to start the restarted race on slicks or on wet tyres. Agura, along with eventual winner Gonzalez, made the decision to go on slicks, and boy were they rewarded for that.
Home fans, they'll be keeping a close eye on one of their own, Honda team major rider Yuki Kuni, who's had a pretty difficult side then of Alberto Arenas, 28-year-old Spaniard. He completes row 4 in 12th place. Second here 6 long years ago now in the Moto3 battle in 2019. Only 1 point scoring finish though in 3 attempts here in Moto2 for Arenas. We have scored points in 13 of our opening 16 Grand Prix, including 8 top 10s. Well, it was right here last year, wasn't it, where David Alonso won the Moto3 World Championship in spectacular fashion. And he's back here in Japan on the front row of the grid for the first time in Moto2. Alongside him is his Aspar teammate, the informed Danny Holgado, who really has hit a real big purple patch in his rookie season. But from pole position, looking for his first win in 8 since Mugello. Looking for back-to-back wins here in Motegi. It's World Championship leader Manu Gonzalez.
Manu Gonzalez took his first Moto2 victory here in Japan a year ago. Can he move a step closer to title glory by going back-to-back in Japan? He starts from a 7th pole of 2025 ahead of Danny Holgado and David Alonso. That first front row for him. Mizzano winner Celestino Vietti 4th from Diogo Moreira and Jake Dixon, who was quickest in all 3 practice sessions. Barry Baltus came to Q1 to 7th ahead of Imu Sasaki, a career best 8th, and Colin Vine 9th. He had a big crash on Friday. Ethan Guevara, Tony Arbolino and Albert Arenas are on row 4 from Ortola, Van den Goldberg and Joe Roberts, who starts 15th. Alonso Lopez, a former podium finisher here, 16th from Danny Munoz and Philip Salat, who crashed in Q2. Marcos Ramirez out in Q1 for the 3rd Grand Prix in a row. He starts 19th ahead of Senna Regis, his worst qualifying since Argentina. Huertas next up from Aaron Cadet, his worst ever Moto2 qualifying ahead of Binder Eskrige, Kunai and Aradre, with Navarro and Anchi completing your grid, having been relegated 9 places.
So a pivotal and absolutely crucial 4-race flyweight tour for our Moto2 title contenders, about to get underway here. Ali Mobility Resort Motegi, about a 2-hour drive north of Tokyo. Who'll be hitting the karaoke bars in the vibrant capital later on this evening, celebrating as we head over to Indonesia in just a few days' time. It has been unpredictable, it's been wide open at times, hasn't it? 2025 Moto2, Celestino Vietti last time out in Mizzano, the 10th different winner of the season, which is actually a new Moto2 record. We'd had 9 winners in 2010, the very first Moto2 season, and last year in 2024. Are we going to get an 11th different victor here this afternoon? Well, Barry Baltus will be certainly hoping so from the head of the 3rd row of the grid, because that would certainly fire some more momentum in what is already a very strong championship charge as far as the Belgian is concerned. That's how the land lies then in terms of the championship, with 6 to go this season. Gonzalez, 39 points clear of both Herrera and Canet. Baltus then a further 15 points back in 4th place. Jake Dixon is 5th in the World Championship, but he's a further 21 points behind Baltus. We're still awaiting that official confirmation. It's pretty much done and dusted for a few weeks now about Dixon's move over to the official Honda World Superbike team for 2026. He'll be looking to lead Moto2, at least a couple more victories, you'd imagine. Aaron Canet, well, this is very alien territory as far as the Mark BDS bound Spaniard is concerned. All the way back down on the 8th row of the grid. I mean, a top 10 will feel like a massive bonus today, won't it, as far as Canet is concerned. The photographers are ready. We're all ready then for 19 laps of Moto2 action here in Motegi. Your front row, pole position for World Championship leader Manu Gonzalez, winner here 12 months ago. Danny Holgado looking to continue this excellent run of form, and David Alonso, well, he knows what it takes to win here in Moto3 in Motegi. A victory here 1 year ago saw him win the Moto3 World Championship. Here we go then, round 17 coming your way in Moto2. Lights out, and we're racing in Moto2 here in Motegi. It's a brilliant start from the middle of that front row by Holgado. Getting swallowed from pole position right now is Gonzalez. Through immediately has got Vietti. Well, Vietti's got one. That's pushed Gonzalez right out to the paintwork. This has been a nightmare first 2 corners for Gonzalez. There's contact further back there, I think, between Binder and Cooney. But Gonzalez is mid-pack from pole.
And it gets worse than that for Diogo Moreira, because the rider second in the World Championship. Moreira leads the He got it hooked up beautifully off the line. Moreira from the Aspar duo, who are still second and third.
Gonzalez down in 9th place, Vietti in 10th. I mean, the first corner in the braking zone, they were both inside the top three. Vietti getting aggressive on the inside now. Gonzalez back into turn 5.
That's a crash in the
Somebody's down.
background.
Oh,
That's
that's Munoz. Thankfully, all the field are going to pick their way through. Munoz losing the rear coming out of turn 5. At the front, though, it's Moreira that leads. Dramatic start here in Japan.
Who was it that sailed? I think it's Van den Gorberg who went sailing off at the top of the picture into turn 5, and then Munoz crashed on the way out. So Moreira, Holgado, Alonso, now Dixon into 4th place. It's Boscoscoro's 4, 5 and 6 because it's the two Blue Crew Pramac bikes next up.
A combination of a real poor start from pole position and then Vietti's aggression into that first corner as he ran wide, picked up Gonzalez, and that has seen Gonzalez surrender 8 places from his starting position. He's got an awful lot of work to do now, hasn't he? Moreira, Holgado, Alonso, who started alongside Gonzalez on that front row of the grid. Confirmation there on your screens, it was Van den Gorberg that did crash out, as Arbolino toughs it out at the moment with Dixon down the hill in the braking zone for turn 11. Arbolino then now the Italian up into 4th.
Cadet update, he's up into 17th place, so he has gained 5 places off the line, although he's just lost one of those to Gonzalez, his teammate, Senna Aegis, doing a turn for his teammate. Not a lot has gone right for Gonzalez on this first lap, but at least Aegis is keeping Cadet back.
That first corner, there is Dixon in 5th place. He was so strong, wasn't he? Led all 3 practice sessions pre-qualifying yesterday as Holgado's going on the inside of Moreira on the brakes into turn 3. He's made that stick. Beautiful move by Holgado, and just like he did in Catalunya, he hits the front early.
So the 27 now leads from 10. Alonso and Arbolino still going head-to-head behind this. We're now looking forward from Moreira, who needs to try and take full advantage of Gonzalez's problems. Arbolino does now go through on David Alonso. Arbolino into the podium spots. We haven't said that much this year.
Gonzalez's first lap nightmare was, well, it cost him 1.6 seconds. That was the gap between the pole starter, the world champion, is just about to fight through there on Vietti at the back of the picture. He did make it through. Gonzalez then has gone back up into 8th place. David Alonso's going the wrong way early on, isn't he, in this Grand Prix. Picked off now by Dixon.
So he's now back to 5th place, is the Moto3 world champion. His teammate leads the Grand Prix. The top 2 already putting some distance between themselves and Arbolino, who himself is moving. A Boscoscoro sandwich with Ortola behind it.
Yeah, not a bad start this by Ortola, up 3 places early on into the top 10 from 13th spot. Down the hill we go then into the 90-degree corner. Lap 2 of 19. Holgado leading, coming from a long way back there. Guevara trying to find a way through on Alonso. Struggling here as he tries to get temperature in those tyres, and with a full fuel load, Alonso suffering a little bit.
It's been his weakness throughout the season. Of course, he managed to get over that yesterday on fresh tyres to get a qualifying time in, but usually we wait until around mid-race distance to see David Alonso's best work.
Yeah, if he's in the mix, if he's in the picture late on, or do not discount the Colombian. Holgado's got some sensational early pace here, hasn't he, Motegi? The first and only rider in the 148s. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, 4/10 quicker he was than Moreira, and that includes an overtake right here at turn 3 on the Brazilian.
A little bit of a snap there for Alonso into 3, but he did hold off Guevara. Of course, Holgado admitted that he perhaps got a little bit overexcited, like a kid in a sweet shop early on in Misano, used too much tyre and then found himself under late pressure. Of course, it was Moreira who nearly caught him on the final lap in Misano. At the moment, though, Holgado doing a very solid job. His lead is approaching half a second now.
As you can see on that timing tab on the left-hand side of your screens, Gonzalez is now 2.3 seconds back of Holgado at the front of this Grand Prix. They started, of course, side by side on the front row of the grid. Just a clear indication of just how poor the start of this Japanese Grand Prix has been for Gonzalez at the moment. He's coming off the worst of this early battle with Misano winner Vietti.
Still an awful long way to go, but he's blowing a major opportunity at the moment. Given where he started and his other title contender started, Moreira, even in 2nd place, would gain 13 points on Gonzalez from there. Of course, even Baltus would gain points on Manu Gonzalez because he's 2 bikes up the road.
Holgado is stretching his legs at the front of this Grand Prix, isn't he? He's over half a second cleared now of Moreira for the first time. It's been a real strong lap from Holgado, having hit the front. He really is just trying to get his head down here now and see what the chasing pack have got behind him. We pick up then Gonzalez. This is the race. It wasn't really a sluggish start off the line by Gonzalez as he drops the clutch and starts arrowing that Triumph engine sideways. You can just see Vietti got a great launch directly behind him. Holgado in the middle of your picture.
5 abreast.
5 abreast as they run down the first corner. You can just see Gonzalez was about to just briefly rolled off there as Vietti chopped in front of his front tyre. But at this point, the pair of them then got dropped to almost outside of the top 10. Oh, Vietti through the eye of a needle there, wasn't it, between Holgado and Gonzalez.
He didn't accelerate forwards, did he? And there was Vietti's problem, which of course then hung out to dry Gonzalez, who was stuck on the outside. Guevara there, beautifully picking his way through the gap to make his way through into 6th place. There he is, still up behind Alonso, who has now set his personal best lap of the Grand Prix. He's settling into this now.
Holgado is making this look like a cinch at the moment here. He's 7 tenths ahead now. Moreira, once again, he's the only rider that's in the 48s. Back-to-back laps to the 48s. We lost centre ages. The Aussie has gone down, looks pretty heavy. Covered in dust, isn't he? There and dirt is the Australian, down at turn 3.
Meanwhile, Gonzalez has now passed Celestino Vietti. Here he is now, 18 ahead of 13. So Gonzalez now up into 8th place. He is 2.5 seconds off the race lead, and a lot of bikes to overtake. He's going to get himself back to where he started, and Vietti's trying to come back at him on the inside. Vietti's not interested at all in Manu Gonzalez's World Championship hopes as he now retakes that P8.
Gonzalez trying to get some instant retaliation on the brakes into turn 10. He's going for the block pass. He's gone for the block pass, and he could be in hot water. He could be in a real spot of bother here. We'll have to try and look at the replays. But Vietti has gone down. He's clearly frustrated the Mazzano winner. Gonzalez came from a long, long way back. Red mist, frustration.
Well, remember Silverstone when, of course, Gonzalez had a rotten start from pole position and was impatient trying to pass Barry Baltus. Here he is up the inside. Vietti comfortably ahead. He's halfway alongside, but a right straight into the side of Celestino Vietti.
Took his right arm, this handlebar from him, didn't he? Looked like from that camera angle. We'd like to see maybe the camera on the outside of turn 10, but yeah, Gonzalez, the steward's going to be all over that, and he
Vietti gave him plenty of room.
Yeah, he did. Well, Gonzalez, that was just the fact that he'd not been able to break that battle with Vietti, and that was just a little bit of red mist. What did he say to Jack on the grid? This is all about a race to use your head, be calm and composed. Well, he's really paying and suffering, isn't he, for that start. Holgado at the moment this is like Catalonia all over again. He's on a different level, a completely different league is Holgado. 3 laps in a row now. He's been in the 48s. At the moment, there's not a single other rider in this Grand Prix that's been in the 48s.
And his teammates under pressure. This time he does lose the place, albeit briefly, to Ethan Guevara, who was into P5 for all but a split second before he crashes at turn 5.
Yeah, Gino Borsoi, part of the Pramac Yamaha MotoGP operation, of course, frustrated as Guevara then goes down. We've lost some of our leading contenders already, haven't we, in this Grand Prix. Vietti down now, Gonzalez down.
That's not the first turn 5 front-end washout of this Grand Prix weekend, so some sympathy for Ethan on that one, but he's missed a major opportunity as Gino Borsoi and Paolo Pavesio of Yamaha watching on closely. They were hoping for a genuine podium threat from him. All their podium hopes now rest on the shoulders of Tony Arbolino.
Shows just how hard he was having to work that front tyre to make the move through on Alonso. The front tyre, unfortunately, crying no more. There is Jake Dixon, who's sort of been stuck in that 4th place for much of this Grand Prix. Very, very quickly, Holgado, maybe at the end of this lap 5 of 19, will be 2 seconds clear of the field. Absolute demolition job he's doing on the field at the moment. Is he still going to be in the high 148s? He's going to come over the line very, very soon. Further back, yeah, he is, a 48.8. Vietti and Gonzalez incident currently under investigation. Big call this in terms of the championship. Holgado once again, lap 2 148, lap 3 148, lap 4 148, lap 5 another 148, and still nobody else in the race is able to match that speed.
If Manu Gonzalez gets a long lap penalty from there, that'll drop him somewhere back towards Lopez in 12th place. If he gets a double long lap penalty, he'll be back with Aaron Canet in 15th place.
Joe Roberts becomes our latest early victim of what's already turning out to be a bit of a race of attrition here, isn't it? In Motegi, Moto2 wise, with Holgado checked out of the front, it's now down to Arbolino, Moreira, Dixon and co to fight it out for the remaining places on the podium. Arbolino has got through, hasn't he? On Moreira, it's one of the best dry race performances we've seen from Arbolino on a Bosca scorer package, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's not a lot of competition from Arbolino's 2025 for that particular prize. Baltus is now making his way forwards too. We said before the race, don't sleep on Barry Baltus as a potential World Championship contender, and with Gonzalez potentially in some hot water later in this race, Baltus in 6th place could be making some big gains in the World Championship too.
Canet's just been pushed back out of the point scoring places by Salac. Canet Canet was briefly up into P15, but now he's down in 16th spot. There is Holgado. Our camera operators are doing a pretty good job of keeping him in the same shot as the chasing pack right now. Such is his commanding advantage he's built at the front of this Grand Prix.
Manu Gonzalez had a long lap penalty for the incident with Celestino Vietti. I think he might be grateful it's only one long lap and not two, because of course we have seen incidents with Manu already this season. So give him 3 seconds from where he currently is, and he's going to drop out of the top 10.
Big chance this, you feel, for Moreira in terms of the championship. Very quickly you'll see on the dashboard the message from race direction. Gonzalez then at the moment on the road in 7th place. There he is, causing a crash. Long lap penalty for Gonzalez. Arbolino picks his way through turn 3. Just ahead on the road then of Gonzalez is that battle between Baltus and Alonso. Holgado over the line was 2.8 seconds clear of Arbolino. First time in the Grand Prix since the standing start of lap 1. Holgado back in the 49s. As now we were just talking about what an open goal this was almost like in terms of the championship for Moreira. Well, he's been picked off now by Dixon on the brakes into 5.
Yeah, he's reversing back at the moment as if he's got the handbrake on in this Moto2 race. Moreira then 13 points available for 4th place, and of course 3 riders up the road who are not in championship contention. So we've now got Moreira 4th, Alonso 5th, Baltus 6th, Gonzalez 7th. Baltus shaping up for a move ahead of David Alonso's right ahead of him. Remember how strong Baltus was late in the race in Misano.
The slowest lap of Holgado's race was still half a second faster than Arbolino in 2nd. It was almost a full second quicker than Moreira in 3rd place. Of course, Moreira was overtaken by Arbolino. Further back there is Ortola in 8th, Arenas 9th. We've got then Colin Vaya running in 10th place, another strong top 10 maybe beckoning for the rookie for Red Bull KTM Iron. Philip Salac, he found his personal best lap of the Grand Prix at 1:49.7. That enabled him to get through on Canet for 15th spot.
So at the moment, Aaron Canet is scoring absolutely nothing in this Grand Prix, and not that 49.2 for Danny Holgado. With clear track ahead of him, Arbolino could only do a 49.6. And we've got Moreira now in the 50s. Diogo Moreira, we have seen him in some trouble recently in Grand Prix, but he somehow manages to show his tenacity and his bravery to stick at it at the front of the field. He's going to have to draw upon those reserves again to keep himself in this podium battle.
This is an absolutely top-notch performance being fired in by Arbolino. He was under the surgeon's knife immediately after the last round in Misano for arm pump surgery, and I think there was a lot of concerns maybe. Well, how would the upper limbs hold up in these heavy braking zones? Well, no problem. This is the reason why World Championship leader Manu Gonzalez got an excursion through the long lap penalty loop. Contact with Vietti up at turn 10. Second time Vietti's been cleaned out of a podium battle by a Dynavolt ride. Of course, round 1 at Thailand, it was Senna Aegis, wasn't it? As Holgado then now already through the picture as your runaway race leader. He's over 3 seconds clear now of Arbolino. Arbolino's got a bit of a breather back to Dixon. The gap between those two just under 0.6.
And with Vietti out of the Grand Prix, Holgado does go on to win this race, which is still a long way away from being achieved, not even a half distance yet. Holgado would go up ahead of Vietti into 6th place in the World Championship, and he would almost rubber stamp the Rookie of the Year prize too. So a lot at stake here potentially for Danny Holgado leading this Grand Prix. We're still waiting, by the way, for Manu Gonzalez to serve his long lap penalty. I think the next lap is his last opportunity, otherwise he'll be in further trouble.
Yeah, he will be in more trouble. He's been enough of it already, hasn't he, so far today? There is Baltus, who has been a spectator on the rear tyre of Alonso for so much of this Grand Prix. Hasn't really been able to get right on par with the number 80 ahead of him to make any kind of significant move in that battle for 5th place. Gonzalez, and there he is in 7th. Holgado over at the line, 3.4 seconds clear of Arbolino, 49.5 for both Arbolino and Dixon. That's keeping that gap between those two around half a second, 0.6 of a second. All eyes then is in that right now on the number 18 bike of Gonzalez. Behind Baltus, charging now towards the long lap penalty loop at turn 3. Here he goes into turn.
Don't overshoot it.
Steady on. He was on the front brake and the rear brake there, wasn't he, to get that stopped going into the long lap penalty. He drops then back in behind Albert Arenas. So Gonzalez down to 9th.
On 9th place now, of course, with everyone else behind him moving up. So not as bad as it could have been there for Gonzalez. I guess he was using all of his 3 laps grace that he had to just try and pull clear of the group behind him so he wouldn't lose as many places and have as many traffic to clear. So 9th place, which is back where he was essentially at the start of the Grand Prix after that disastrous first sector.
Canet just can't get himself into the point scoring places. Woeful weekend for Canet. He's doing 150s at the moment, a 150.1 on the last lap. He's got to be careful because Darren Binder behind him just set his fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's only 3/4 of a second clear of the South African is Canet. He's slipped almost 7/10 behind Ramirez, who now occupies that final point scoring place.
So signs of the advantage that Holgado had at the front sort of stabilising now. Of course, the gap in terms of lap times was as small as it's been in the whole Grand Prix, only a couple of tenths quicker than Arbolino, and so far in this lap, the gap has barely grown. It's gone from 3.4 to 3.5. So Holgado's early charge has now got to a stage where he can just manage this through the second half of this Grand Prix. Just make sure he saves some of that super soft SCX rear tyre for the second half of this Grand Prix. He's got 3.5 seconds to play with.
Potentially a real damaging day in terms of the championship for Canet. He could be losing another 7 points right now to Gonzalez. Out of turn 2, through the Motegi sunshine goes Holgado. Miles clear of the pursuing pack, which is still led by Tony Arbolino. Yeah, Holgado's pace is just ever so slightly tailing off. Of course, he was so strong, 4 or 5 laps in the 148s to establish his big buffer at the front. As you were then behind him, Arbolino second, Dixon third. He's got Moreira, Alonso and Baltus for company. Baltus then 1.8 seconds clear of Ortola. A 152.1 was Gonzalez's lap through the long lap. So if you compare that to our race leader, Holgado, he lost 2.5 seconds after the penalty for the Vietti contact.
Given the way he was slipping backwards, Moreira has done what he's done on so many occasions this season and rallied and rebounded, and he's kept himself in that group. Moreira's now doing the same lap times as the leaders on a 149.7. The top 6 in this race, there was only a 1/10 of a second covering all of their lap times last time around. So we've got a 5-way battle at the moment for second place behind our runaway leader.
Holgado's last 4 Grand Prix, second from a pole position in Austria, the win from pole in Catalonia, third from pole in Misano, and he's cruising to yet another victory and podium here in Motegi. Danny Holgado, since the summer break, I don't know where he went on his holiday, but he has been absolutely sensational. Gonzalez then at the moment has not been able to find a way back through on Ortola or Arenas, but he has closed right then now on the former Moto3 world champion. Should be making light work of those two ahead of him. Dixon's got second. He's finally got through back on Tony Arbolino.
Yeah, Arbolino's made a mistake.
Yeah, he must have made a mistake. Arbolino was in the, well, he did a 150.7. Did Arbolino fluff his braking? The mark is down in the hill into turn 11. Dixon a 149.9. Holgado back in the sort of mid 149s. 3 rides on that last minute 49s. Holgado, Dixon and Moreira.
Well, the evidence of practice earlier on the weekend, it looked like the 2 clear riders at the front were going to be Gonzalez and Dixon. Dixon is now into second place, but I don't think anyone, with the greatest of respect, expected Holgado. I think some expected that he might lead the Grand Prix, but not to the extent that he is. The thick end of 5 seconds now up the road. That was the moment for Tony Arbolino, who was nearly sent to the skies coming into the final corner.
Ride it, cowboy. Yeah, you do wonder as well, bearing in mind that it was less than a fortnight ago that Tony Arbolino was having, oh, there was the moment on board with Dixon. Great replay that, wasn't it? As we look from the Brit ahead to Tony Arbolino. He did well to save it and stay on 2 wheels there, did Arbolino. You just wonder late on whether sort of fatigue might be an issue for him, having had that recent arm pump surgery.
Gonzalez now up into 8th place, by the way. He has passed Arenas on this 11th lap of 19, although more yellow flags have come out somewhere in the 3rd sector, so we'll keep a close eye. Darren Binder, whose name is dropping down the order, the rider who, of course, took his first ever Grand Prix podium here way back when. Unfortunately, won't be adding any points for Grassini in Moto2 today.
Still nothing going in terms of vital points as far as Canet's concerned. How many laps now has he been stuck in that 16th place? Coming back to him is Adrian Huertas, who's back down now in 14th spot. Over the line we go then. We're on lap 12 of 19. Danny Holgado's lead now is up to 4.6 seconds. He's still comfortably in those 149s. Dixon then, having accepted the gift from Arbolino going through victory corner a couple laps ago, now is about half a second clear of the Italian behind him.
So this is our five-way battle. Looks like Baltus is struggling to match this pace. He's now over half a second adrift of Alonso. Baltus in 6th place, so he would score 10 points if he comes across the line there. That would move him to within 5 of his teammate Aaron Canet for 3rd in the World Championship. Moreira, of course, would be a clear 2nd. If he finishes 4th, that would take him on to 201 points. Gonzalez with 8 points, 235. So the gap would come down from 39 to 34 in the advantage of Gonzalez.
Here is Gonzalez and now trying to get his way back through on Ortola. They'll bank it hard left there now through 7. Clearly Gonzalez at the moment has the superior pace. You just saw with the corner speed going through 6 and 7 hours, able to just eat up the gap between himself and his fellow Spaniard. Thought of he might just going to be ascending on the inside of Ortola there, going into 9.
He'll be making sure that every move he makes now is absolutely squeaky clean, having already found himself in the long lap penalty loop for being a little bit too impatient and over-aggressive in his attempts to pass Shelton Vietti right here into turn 10. So Manny Gonzalez, of course, it is a missed opportunity. There's no other way of slicing it, but he can still salvage some very useful points from what has been a miserable afternoon so far.
Another good ride this by Ortola, potentially on course for his 5th top 10 of the season in his rookie year. Fellow rookies Alonso and Holgado grabbed so many of the headlines. You can see how hard Ortola's having to work to keep Gonzalez behind him, charging in a little bit hot there down the hill into turn 11. He was on the outside curb. Now, can he get the rear grip, get the traction on Ortola to try and line up a move on the brakes into the first corner? I think Ortola's going to have him covered off on this braking zone into the first right-hander. If he does indeed, and more pressing matters may be emerging once again here for Gonzalez, because Arenas has jumped back into this battle.
Yeah, that little overshoot into the victory corner, into the V corner, should I say, at the end of the back straight, that threw Gonzalez in, who made the same mistake. So that's brought Arenas right back onto the tail of him. Then next behind them is Via in 10th place, Sasaki 11th. So not quite the heady heights of Friday when he was up inside the top 3. Lopez 12th from Santos Ramirez, and Canet has retaken that final point now from Puertas.
On board then with Gonzalez, that is a clean move. He had to make it clean as a whistle. Then on the brakes into turn 5 through on Ortola. So Gonzalez then now up into P7. That might be as good as it gets as far as the World Championship leader is concerned, because there's a fairly decent gap then to Barry Baltus in 6th. Yeah, Gonzalez 2.2 seconds adrift of the Belgian, so that could be as good as it gets then on this Sunday in Japan for the World Championship leader.
Well, at least what we will find out now is just how much pace Gonzalez would have had if he'd been in clear air at the front of the Grand Prix and he'd not made that awful start. Worth asking the question whether he would have had the pace to defeat Daniel Holgado today with the incredible performance he's showing out at the front of the race. For the first time though, his lead is starting to come down a little bit. Dixon was a shade faster last time round to close the gap to 4.5 seconds. It's now down to 4.3 through the 3rd sector, but Holgado has got plenty of margin to manage this over the final 6 laps.
Yeah, he'll just be easing off ever so slightly, just making sure that he's got ample rubber for the crucial tail end of this Grand Prix. First time then on lap 13 of 19, Holgado is back in the 150s, and it feels like for the first time in this Grand Prix that somebody actually behind him has lapped quicker. Dixon now is the only rider that's in the 149, so it is some pretty impressive late pace being delivered by the Brit for Mike VDS Racing.
50.1 for Manu Gonzalez versus a 50.5 for Barry Baltus, who I said was drifting away from the 5-way battle that he was at the tail of for 2nd place. Baltus has got a big role to play here, not just for himself in terms of the World Championship, because he's still contending, but of course for Aaron Canet, who's on course for 1 point at the moment. Fantic will be rather keen for Baltus to keep Gonzalez at bay if the 18 does catch him.
Track limits incoming for Puertas. And now Philip Salach further down the order. Salach 13th, Puertas now out of the points in 16th. Here is Sasaki-san in front of his home crowd. Looks like the top 10 might elude Sasaki, because over the line on that last lap he was 1.4 seconds behind Via. Looking for just his 7th point scoring finish in his 33rd Moto2 start. Sasaki
up ahead of him. Via is now catching this battle with Ortola and Arenas. Last time around, Via was a quarter of a second or so quicker than the riders up ahead of him, as Arenas now goes in a little bit hot into turn 10, but that does at least give you a good exit as you square off the corner down towards the back straight. The lead of Holgado then continues to hold firm at around 4.25 seconds partway through this 14th lap. It's just all about a concentration exercise for him, as once again again Arenas gets a little bit squirrely, and this time he overshoots the hairpin in the back straight via right on top of him now.
That ain't the way you break and tackle turn 11, is it? As far as Albert Arenas is concerned, and now he's got real big problems brewing behind him as Colin Via takes advantage of that mistake. Holgado then still 4.2 seconds clear at the front, 5 to go here then. Here in Motegi, Tony Arbolino is resisting the pressure from behind, hang on to that third place. Cool, look at Arenas spinning up that Pirelli rear tyre, going through 1 and 2. Looks like he really is suffering with a lack of rear grip at the moment, is Arenas. Alonso in 5th. Haven't really seen any forward progress made at this stage of the Grand Prix by Alonso. He's only gone backwards so far in this race, which is quite an unusual thing to say, because we know the Colombian's forte is right at this very juncture of races, when on well-worn tyres, he really does start to come on strong.
Of course, running in traffic for all the Grand Prix can't have done any good for his front tyre, both the temperature, the pressure and the wear of it. Moreira though now right on top of Arbolino. He's got to make this move now. There's a podium up for grabs here for Diogo Moreira, and crucially 3 extra championship points by going from 4th into 3rd, and if he is going to try and take this World Championship to Manu Gonzalez in the closing stages, those are the kind of moves he must make.
You've got to feel that having had that invasive arm pump surgery just a few days ago, coupled with all the vicious, heartbreaking zones here in Motegi, fatigue and a bit of tiredness and maybe a little bit of discomfort and pain is going to start proving to be an issue late on for Arbolino. Fair play to him, he's produced a heroic ride to keep himself. Yeah, you just saw there, he moved at the right arm as he exited turn 10, so clearly he is just starting to suffer a little bit late on here in Arbolino. Massive respect to him for keeping himself in this podium battle for as long as he has.
He's still very much on course for his best dry result of 2025, although he was really struggling there coming through 12. He was wide through 12, and he's now under pressure, further pressure from Alonso. He'll be desperate to see that checkered flag. Bad news, Tony, you've still got 4 more laps to complete.
Yeah, look at him, he's shaking his head. He just can't keep the right arm into the sort of optimal riding position. He keeps trying to stretch it out. There's lots of moving with the right arm. Boy, he's really struggling at the moment, is Arbolino in the 51s. Again, he's going to have to really grit his teeth here, isn't he, Tony Arbolino? You'd imagine that arm, maybe it's just the arm swelling inside the leathers and inside the glove. That may be something that he's having to deal with late on here.
Yeah, and of course, in terms of the World Championship, that could also be an important factor, because he might well reverse back towards Gonzalez yet, who did a 50.1. Alonso now through on Arbolino, who might well drop out of the top 6. Gonzalez is going a second a lap quicker than Arbolino. He's even a half second quicker than Baltus and Alonso. Manu Gonzalez is still motoring towards potentially a 4th or a 5th here.
Yeah, Arbolino is really suffering here late on. He will do exceptionally well to keep himself inside the top 6. There is Moreira then, who has charged away from Alonso. Has had nothing though, has he, for Jake Dixon. 2.5 seconds behind. The Brit strung out really at the front of this Grand Prix. Big gaps, 4.1 seconds between Holgado and Dixon. 2.5 then between Dixon and Moreira. Hanging on, literally hanging on for dear life right now, isn't he? Tony Arbolino, more a big movement as he tries just to ease the pain, the discomfort from that recovering right arm. How on earth has he kept himself in the podium battle for as long as he has?
These 3.5 laps are going to feel like 3 Grand Prix for Tony Arbolino. He's really gritting his teeth here and keeping himself in the mix. Baltus, of course, he needs the points as much as anybody for his World Championship hopes. If he can get through on Arbolino, that would be an extra point. 1 point at the moment is all Aaron Canet, his teammate, is scoring further back. So Arbolino that time, and once again in the 51s, and again a second slower than Gonzalez, 2 bikes behind him.
Yeah, he's got it all on here, hasn't he, Arbolino, to keep himself inside that top 6. The gap between Holgado and Dixon has just shrunk to under 4 seconds. No great alarm, no need to press the panic button for Holgado, because he's just in the comfort zone, isn't he? He'll just be managing that gap at the front, managing his pace. We're looking then now directly ahead to the suffering Tony Arbolino. We were briefly on board there with Baltus. He will see, he will know exactly the issues that Arbolino is trying to contend with here, and that Baltus will sense that there is a 5th place in the offing.
Yeah, I wonder if that right arm's just going numb on Arbolino. He's trying to sort of shake some feeling into it in these final stages. See the gap that Alonso and Moreira have pulled up ahead. Don't think Alonso is going to necessarily threaten Moreira's podium at the moment. They're doing similar lap times. As you watch this now, battle for 5th and 6th, and Gonzalez is now right behind them.
Yeah, this time, isn't it? Before Arbolino.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. The white flag's going to come out, unfortunately, very, very soon. He has fought such a great fight. He's doing an absolutely sterling job at the moment just to keep Baltas and Gonzalez behind him. And let's just pick them up now. Out of turn 10, they start motoring through that Triumph gearbox. Arbolino got great drive, didn't he? Fair play coming out of that turn 10. Gonzalez coming from a long, long way back, levels Baltas on the brakes, down the hill into turn 11. Manu Gonzalez, well, looking ahead, going, well, Barry, if you're not going to make a move quickly on Arbolino, well, I'll have a pop, mate.
Yeah, so that's now 6th place. Surely that will soon become 5th for Manu Gonzalez. And looking at where this race has settled down into, Manu Gonzalez has just displayed a little bit more patience up behind Chelsea Vietti. He could well have been on the podium today.
I'm sure Holgado is in full control of this Grand Prix at the front of it, but he has just lost a second. He was a second slower than Dixon on that previous lap. Tony Arbolino really is, as we mentioned, suffering. This is going to be the toughest, the hardest, oh, he was almost down there, wasn't he? The toughest and hardest 5th place, potentially, he has ever earned in his Grand Prix career. I've actually loved it. It's justice if he can finish inside the... Easy, isn't it, really? There's nothing that Arbolino can do, as Gonzalez then picks him off now, going through 5.
Hurting to watch Tony Arbolino at the moment, no matter how much he must be hurting inside his bladders right now. So Manu Gonzalez, 11 World Championship points he's on course for. In 5th place, he would lose just, I say just, 5 points to Diogo Moreira if he put the flag out now.
I am sure, I'm still convinced that Danny Holgado is perfectly stage managing this Grand Prix at the front. So I'm just keeping an eye on the sector times though, and Jake Dixon has already found another 3/10 on the Spaniard through the first half of this Motegi circuit. Lap and a half remaining. Tony Arbolino desperately trying to hang on to that top 6. Can Barry Baltas do anything to get through on the Italian?
We'll know that Holgado's stage managing this if he starts waving at the crowd again, as he did partway through the final lap in Barcelona, of course, when he took his first Moto2 victory. This second victory that's coming in a lap in a bit's time, every bit as impressive as the first.
It really has been impressive. He led every single lap at the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya. He was briefly behind Diogo Moreira at the start of this Grand Prix. There he is, they're moving through your shot, starting the final lap with a 2.6-second advantage over Dixon. A lonely second right now as far as Dixon's concerned.
Alonso, I think, giving up on 3rd place yet, a potential double Aspar podium. He did a 50.1. He's the 2nd fastest rider after Dixon on track at the moment. Here it is, the battle for 3rd place. Valuable points up for grabs here for Diogo Moreira, but Alonso, of course, passed Moreira amongst others on the final lap to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, looking to deal some more late heartache for Diogo.
Dixon's had some really, really impressive late race speed here. He's reeled off a whole bunch of 49s, hasn't he, Jake Dixon? The problem was, having got stuck in a bit of early traffic, Holgado was able to make that decisive breakaway at the front of this Grand Prix. Holgado has it completely covered off, 2.4 seconds clear of the experienced Brit in 2nd place. Game on though, isn't it, for 3rd? Big World Championship points at stake here as far as Moreira is concerned. As it stands right now, he'll be taking 16 points to Mandalika. He will not want to lose these 3 points, will he, to Alonso?
Alonso's the only bite between Moreira and Gonzalez at this stage of the race. Remember, of course, Moreira was up in 2nd place at the point that Gonzalez served his long lap penalty. They could end up line astern in 4th and 5th at the end of this Grand Prix. But Moreira, as long as he makes no mistakes from here, Alonso's going to have to take some serious risks to pass him.
And way out of your picture, in cruise control at the front of this Grand Prix, now deep into the final sector, is Holgado, who has been a cut above here, hasn't he, in Motegi. Alonso is too far back to attack Moreira for the final place on the podium as they go down the hill into turn 11. Out of victory corner goes Holgado, and it's going to be a 2nd win in Moto2 in 2025 for the brilliant rookie. Danny dominant here in Motegi. He takes the checkered flag, 1.3 seconds clear of Jake Dixon. Diogo Moreira, how important, how significant could those 3 points be as he does hold off the hard-charging Alonso for the final place on the podium. Gonzalez, despite his long lap and a poor start after the contact with Vietti, does take 5th place. That feels like that's going to be a very important 5th place. Full respect, just moving through your picture there on the number 14 bike, Tony Arbolino did hold off Barry Baltas. He is suffering big time, isn't he? Taking the glove off already. I'm sure there's numbness, I'm sure there's swelling inside the leathers. Balta 7th, top 10 for Ortola, Arenas and Vaya. Points for Lopez Ramirez, Salach, Sasaki and Canet 15th. 1 point for the out-of-sort Spaniard. Is that a big blow? Well, it clearly is a big blow, isn't it, in terms of championship as far as Canet is concerned. But Danny Holgado, take a bow. He has been just absolutely sensational.